if you are waiting for a certain thing to happen in your life in order to be your happiest, then that is so misguided. We don't have yesterday, we don't have tomorrow. And I really, really, truly want you to take that on board. Because if you are working towards a big goal, or if you are waiting for a certain thing to happen in your life in order to be your happiest, then that is so misguided, because you can't guarantee that that's actually going to happen. You can't guarantee that you're going to get there. So choose happiness now, or at least do your very best to try and get to the place where you are able to live in the moment. And I came to this understanding years and years ago, when I was really struggling with infertility. I was in a very dark place, to the point where I'd have family all around me, or I'd be with my closest friends and just would withdraw into a sorry little shell of a hole. Like, it was horrible. I just couldn't be myself. I couldn't, not even with my closest family. I just was in such a hard period of my life. And so if you can relate to that, then know that I got myself out of that place. Looking back, I implemented a lot of the things that I then went on to learn about in, my training to be a hypnotherapist. And I managed to get myself out of survival mode and living in my intellectual mind. I don't know how I did it. I just became more positive. I basically actually put my trust in the universe. I learned about manifestation and about how you get more of what you are, not what you want. And so choose happiness now. Choose to be at peace with all that you have now, even if it's not ideal and you're hoping for something to happen, you're wishing and you're praying for something to happen. That's not how it works. And you'll just end up staying in that place of lack and of wanting. You actually need to turn things around so that you are vibrating at that frequency of the thing that you want to bring into your life. And so for me, that was about choosing to be happy despite not, having a baby yet. I managed to get to a place where I was at peace and happy and positive. And so, yeah, just basically wanted to say that, I have really, really struggled. And those times that we have in our lives that are really hard, they teach us things. And honestly, I'm not the same person today because of the journey that I went through, and I'm much stronger and all the rest of it. So just know that I am basically teaching you to live your life the way I live my life, because it's amazing. You can be in the moment. You can not let things get to you. You can completely trust in timing, trust in yourself. You can live your best life, even if life isn't incredible now. If stuff is happening all around you that's outside of your control, you can still sit in life and be happy. You can choose happiness. And so, yeah, the more I relax and be super open with you, including like last week's unexpected announcement about how I just trust in the universe and manifestation and things, like that was a big deal, by the way, because it really is underpinning everything that I'm doing. And the more open I am with you, the better, because otherwise you won't really get full access to the way I do things. So yeah, I'm happy about that. And so this episode is going to be all about how to live in the now, because the only moment we have is now. There's a few things that I would say, if you're listening to this, you need to be able to have an understanding of and implement before you can fully live in the now. I mean, it's easy to live in the now when times are good, but on the harder days, I think you need to be able to tick all of these boxes in order to be able to live in the now. So let's go through those first then. Things you need to sort out before you can live in the now. Number one, your stress bucket levels. And a lot of this is to do with perception. Okay, because perception is everything. How you choose to perceive any situation is your choice. And if you can shift that balance towards a more empowered perception, then great, because you're going to be able to manage your stress bucket levels so much better. And the lower your stress bucket levels are, the more you're going to be able to be in control of your emotions, and the more you're going to be able to live in the now. Because if you are living from your primitive brain and operating in fight or flight mode, then that is very, very negative. And you're going to be triggered much more easily. You're going to be much more negative. You're going to feel either irritable or not confident, or like you just don't have the motivation to do anything. Basically, your primitive brain is very, very negative. I don't want to go on too much about this because there's a whole episode on an understanding of this. So if you go and listen to I Have a Caveman Brain, one of the very first episodes, that will give you a basic understanding of the stress bucket and how to bring it down. The next thing is have an understanding of the brain. And if this is your first episode that you're listening to, you're just finding me, then brilliant. Welcome to my world. I would really recommend going and listening to the other episodes first. If you've got the time, then go back to the beginning and work your way forward, because there's so much that you can learn about the brain. And when you do that, it's an absolute game changer, because you are living with a brain that is designed for caveman times with, real life or death situations. Whereas unfortunately nowadays it's not the same. But if we don't know how our brain works, we can really, really make problems for ourselves. So go and listen to some more episodes and implement what you're hearing, and that will help you be able to live in the now. Next one is put yourself first. And this is so, so important. And if this means that you've got to do some work on your boundaries, then that's what's needed. Because if you can't put yourself first and generate the feel-good chemicals that you need to in your brain in order to live from your intellectual mind so that you can be happy and you can be present and live in the now, then you're going to find it very, very difficult. Okay, you need to be looking after yourself first. And that is not selfish at all. Okay, it doesn't mean to say necessarily yourself first and screw everybody else. It's like at least put yourself first some of the time. And if you sort your boundaries out, then you can do that. It's not about putting yourself last, okay? Because if you do that, you are running on empty. Your stress bucket is full and your relationships aren't going to be as good as you would like them to be, because you can't manage your emotions when you're operating from your primitive brain. And so everything gets negatively impacted. Whereas if you shift your perception there and decide that actually you are worthy of putting yourself first so that you can feel better, feel happier, feel calmer, do whatever you need to do to get yourself in your intellectual mind and feeling better, then you'll have more resources available for everybody else. Choose happiness, because how you are is your choice. If you've done a lot of personal development, you'll understand this already. Or if you're a client of mine, you'll understand this by the time we finish working together. But once you really, really sort your stress bucket levels out and do all the mindset shifts that you need to, and really understand the workings of the brain and everything that I teach you inside of my Change Your Life program, then you get to a point where you can choose happiness. And you can choose how you respond in every single moment. You are living your life your way. And you are in control of your emotions. And if you're not, then you know exactly what you need to do to change that. And the case is, you literally can choose how you are in every moment. Okay, nobody can make you happy. Nobody can make you angry. Nobody can make you disappointed. Nobody can make you sad. All of these emotions we choose to feel. Most of the time it's because we are triggered on a subconscious level based on stuff that's happened in the past. And it takes a lot of work to get to the point where you can decide every single time. But it's absolutely doable with hypnotherapy, with teaching, with practice. And it's a game changer when you can. But just become aware that you can choose to be happy. So if you're living a day, if you're deciding that a day is just a bit mundane, you've decided that. So you're not going to necessarily feel much happiness on a day where you've decided that it's going to be mundane. You can choose to be happy if you change your perception. So just take this and kind of chew on it a little bit. How do I affect my mood levels based on the decisions that I've made? What's my expectation of a day? What's my expectation of an event? Or if you're a teacher, what's my expectation of this class? Because what we expect, our subconscious mind is looking for evidence for. So be aware of your perceptions. If those perceptions aren't helpful, then change them. okay? Because you can. Next one, let go of resistance. This is important because we can create so much resistance in our life by trying to control situations, trying to control the outcome of something, trying to control people, when actually we don't have that control. And it's very liberating when you can let go of that, when you can just let it be. Oh, it just is so liberating. And at the same, like on the same level of this, I invite you completely to start to trust in timing, trust in divine timing. You know, if you've got a goal that you want to happen, but it doesn't happen the way that you want it to happen, well, who's to say that that is right? If you lean into divine timing and just trust that what will be, and it's all for the greater good, then that feels a lot easier. Okay, just an example for you. I had a goal that I wanted to achieve a few months back, and I realized that I wasn't on track for that goal. And then I realized as well, like, makes no difference whether I achieve that goal on the last day of the month or the first day of the next month, because actually the universe doesn't deal with months. January, February, March, they're all man-made things. Okay. And so actually I'm trying to control that, creating resistance for that. When you just surrender and lean back into trust and just know that it will happen at the right time. Whatever situation this is, it will happen at the right time. I also want you to lean into more trust in yourself. It will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. There we go. So that's that. Right, a little story for you. This podcast, as you know, goes out Monday at midnight every single week without fail. And I would never ever miss a deadline unless I had a bloody good reason to. Yesterday I wasn't feeling very well, and the last few weeks I've kind of been a bit relaxed about the timing of like getting these episodes done. I've just kind of left it a little bit last minute, and then I wasn't feeling very well yesterday, and then I was like, okay, I really need to record and edit and schedule this all on a Monday so it's ready to go out. And now I could have told myself a story that, oh, I'm lazy or need to be more organized, or basically just creating resistance and stress for myself. But I know that that's not helpful. What if this happening this week is a lesson to me? Because you might have heard me say before that nothing in life is positive or negative. So it's not negative that I've left this to the last minute. It just is. And so when you start to filter everything you're experiencing through that reminder that nothing in life is positive or negative, it just is, then that's a game changer for you, because you can start to look at the things that you thought were negative and ask yourself, what could the lesson be here? And just be open to that. What's the lesson? Because if we're constantly learning our lessons, then we don't need to repeat the lesson. Okay, and what I mean by that is if you learn the lesson that the universe is giving you, you're not going to be hit in the face with a bigger lesson next time. And really, if you don't learn your lessons, they will keep coming back in different contexts, different scenarios, and the lessons get bigger and bigger, i.e. stuff gets harder. Okay. So look out for the lessons. For me, I'm telling myself that I'm recording this right at the last minute because I can just lean into trusting myself more and more and more. And that feels good. So the stories that you tell yourself, make sure that they are only positive and empowering ones. Because if you tell yourself any story that is not positive or empowering, you're holding back your own personal growth. If you're telling yourself negative stories, it's going to affect you in a negative way. You're going to doubt yourself more. You're going to procrastinate more. You're going to, your brain is going to magnify the risk more because you're going to be operating in your primitive mind. Okay, so be your own best friend. Look at life as lessons. Be more grateful. These are all the things that I practice day in, day out. I have the right mindset to really get the best out of my life every single day. And this trust in myself and trusting that what will be is incredible, because I know that I'm quite unique as a business owner in the sense of how much trust I have. And this is all down to not telling myself stories and just relaxing and putting myself first and choosing happiness, and just basically a combination of all of the mindset pieces and all of the work that I teach my clients. I live and breathe it. I literally live and breathe everything that I teach my clients. And so, of course, I'm going to be in the best possible place to experience life. And as I said, you get more of what you are, not what you want. Because when you're in a better place, you're going to get more of that. When you're in a negative place, telling yourself all of these negative stories, you're going to get more of that. Okay? You get more of what you are, not what you want. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway is, or the things that you found most interesting, intriguing. If you've got any questions, let me know. And actually, I would love to announce an incentive that I'm doing from now on. And that is to share my podcast on your Instagram stories. Ideally with your takeaway from the episode, like what was your takeaway? So that it helps other people to want to listen. And when you do that, I will thank you by sharing an exclusive hypnosis audio. It's not available anywhere else. And that audio will help you to let go of the resistance that you have in your life, help you trust more, help you feel calmer, more positive, more grateful, all of the things basically that are going to move you forward in a positive way and let go of what is not serving you on a subconscious level. By the way, if you don't know how hypnosis audios work or hypnosis works in itself, then it is communicating with the subconscious mind, because it's your subconscious mind that governs the things that you say, the way that you feel, how you act. And when we've got negative patterns and programs in our subconscious mind, they'll be making us feel less than not worthy or not enough, or feeling negative or feeling resistance in any way, shape or form. And how we feel influence how we act. And so if we can reprogram the unhelpful things in our subconscious mind, we can get so much more from ourselves and from our lives. And so this is why hypnotherapy is such a successful, impactful, positive, brief form of therapy, because it is not working with the conscious mind, it's working with the subconscious mind, which influences how we feel all day, every day. So yes, hypnotherapy is a big part of what I do, but also coaching and teaching mindset and teaching about the brain, so much more. And I have a few spaces left for me to work with you if you would like this month. So do get in touch if you are interested, would like to know how I could help you move forwards from your current situation to a much happier place for the rest of your life. These changes that I help my clients make are lifelong changes. They are not temporary. My mission with this podcast and why I started it was to serve. And so I really hope that everything I've shared with you today and in previous episodes is serving you and helping you to change your life. It requires consistent action. It requires effort. But if you're willing to put in the work, then you can absolutely change a great deal just by listening to me and implementing my advice. However, if you're listening and you would like to work with me, then obviously I work too. I do solution-focused hypnotherapy and much more. And my program is called Change Your Life. And it's a program that I'm really proud of. So if you're interested in this and would like some more information about how it works and whether it would be right for you, then do get in touch with me via the information in the show notes. Thanks again for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would love for you to share it with a friend or stick it up on stories on Instagram and tag me at Believe and Achieve with Jenna. See you next week.